Good evening and welcome to Tea Time.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. It is Monday. It is November 14th, the middle of the month. I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick and then get to my in-studio guest. I'm so excited. All right, well, Bobby's got some pictures we're going to throw up as I talk about this. As you know, my daughter got engaged, and this weekend she said yes to the dress, and we went dress shopping on Friday and Saturday. Bobby's going to put up a picture. There she is. She held it up. She found it. No, you can't see it. No one can until the big day, which is 11/22/23. But they bought out champagne and mimosas and cookies, and she said yes to the dress. So I was excited. And then there I am with her future mother-in-law, Ro. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. That was Friday. And then Friday night, I did Murdered by the Mob in Manhattan. And Bobby's going to put up 2 pictures of that. Yeah, so I went from Long Island dress shopping, and there's me and my cousin Rob Arnone, who came to the show and surprised me. That's me dressed as Donna Rosella. And there's another picture with me with Ralph Bracco. And there's Ralph. And as you guys know, I also do Bat Boy, a Yankee Miracle with Ralph, which we're doing at the Yogi Berra Museum on the 29th, Tuesday the 29th in Montclair, New Jersey. There's still some tickets left if you want to come and see us. Saturday again. That was Saturday, actually, those pictures. My daughter said yes to the dress on Saturday. And then Saturday night, Ro and I, her future mother-in-law, went for Mexican for dinner, which was really nice, and had a big, delicious margarita. Sunday I did laundry, because we all need clean underwear. And Sunday night, I was here at Beautiful Paradise Studios. I did D&A Live, Danny and Althea show at 8 o'clock. And then, dubbed the podcast whore by Graz a day. Graz, I did limo talk at 9:15 and joined the guys, Bobby Inns, Graz, and Rich Zirella, Rich Z. Anyway, so that was my weekend. I want to say prayers for Jay Leno, because Jay Leno actually had an accident and is a burn victim right now, and he is trying to recover, and hopefully he'll feel better within a week. Prayers and condolences to the Aniston family. Jennifer Aniston's dad, John Aniston, passed away at 89. So I just wanted to get that out there. All right, so let me get to it. He is a professional boxing referee. This is so exciting. And he's also an actor. And he's my friend, Danny. Now, do you say Schiavone? Schiavone. That's the way I say it. Schiavone. Hi, Danny. How are you?
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, Teresa. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so
very excited about this. Yes, see that?
I'm excited. I'm excited. Listen, all I know is that Danny was supposed to do the show in October. Mm-hmm. And Danny lives in Connecticut, and he was on his way here to do the show, and unfortunately, you got rear-ended.
I got rear-ended, yes.
Rear-ended.
I'm lucky to be here, actually.
He is, he's very lucky.
Because it was about 70 miles an hour the guy was going, and I was in basically a stop position, waiting to get on the highway.
Crazy, just crazy.
Yeah.
And, you know, he sent me pictures of the car, which was it totaled?
Totaled, absolutely.
And now he's in therapy 3 days a week, right?
2.
All right, well, okay. Well, that's good. But I'm glad you're here.
I'm here.
To tell your story. And I'm excited because Danny and I met on the set of Gravesends, which we're going to talk about later on. We'll talk about Gravesend. We'll get into it more. But we actually met on set in Jersey, and I don't know, something just clicked. I just feel like he could be one of my cousins, and I've known him for years. You know what I'm saying?
Chemistry.
Yeah, that's what it is. So let's let everyone get to know you. You're originally from Hartford, Connecticut?
Yes.
Like, is that like where you grew up?
That's where I
you were
basically
raised?
grew up. Yeah, you know what? Hartford, and my mother was from the Bronx,
Right.
so had that kind of New York influence as well.
But you're still in?
Yes.
Still in Hartford, like you just.
Weathersfield, technically.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
right outside
okay.
of Hartford, yes.
So you went to South Catholic High School?
I did, in the south end of Hartford. The
so
Little
talk
Italy
to
section.
me,
the
talk
Little
to me
Italy
about
section.
high school. Were you into sports?
Yeah, I played.
Were you into acting? What kind?
Not acting.
What kind of kid
nope.
were you like back then?
I was an athlete. I played football, indoor track, baseball.
Wow.
Played in some basketball leagues. Yeah.
I should say, what didn't you play then? Because you pretty much covered it all.
Well, I didn't play soccer. I didn't play hockey. We didn't have those teams. As a matter of fact, we
All
didn't
right.
even have a. It was a concrete playground around the high school.
Right,
Because I was
right.
right in the center. I was right in the south end of Hartford. So.
All right.
So we didn't have certain things,
So
certain amenities.
after high school, what would you want to be when you grew up? Like, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do?
You know what? My family owned a business, and
Okay.
I eventually ended up getting into sales.
Right.
But through high school, through college, I kind of was just really into sports.
Right,
That was my
right.
thing.
Yeah.
I had aspirations of playing professional baseball,
Okay.
whether they were realistic or not. I mean, I was approached by the Cubs.
Really?
I was, yeah.
Wow. What
Yeah.
position did you play?
I played the outfield. I
Okay.
played left field and center field, actually. I was kind of back and forth.
My
but-
cousin was with the White Sox.
Oh, no kidding, okay.
Minor leagues.
Right, the minor
and,
leagues,
and
yeah.
he had an injury
Ah.
and kaput.
Yeah, well,
That was
that
it.
happens more times than
Yeah.
you would think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's
But yeah, so I did like a year after high school in a prep school. Stuck out like a sore thumb.
Right.
Because I was a Hartford kid in a prep school. It just didn't really jive. But I mean,
Yeah.
I got in there, and from there, I was approached when we were down in Florida by the Cubs coach.
Wow.
And but my father was what he said went, and he said, "You're going to college. That's it."
Okay. And you went to Wagner.
I went to Wagner in Staten Island. I
College.
was recruited for football.
Okay.
Yep, I was recruited for football.
Uh-huh.
And back in the day, not like now, where you go to a college and it's all Division 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
It was kind of a bunch of different things. You could be 1, 2, or 3 depending upon the sport. Back in the 80s.
Right.
So I'm dating myself. And basically what happened was, I got recruited for football, and I went to the camp and everything, but I really wanted to play baseball. They said you can't do both because the baseball program was Division 1, and they had a 25-game fall season, a 50-game spring season. And, I had to make a decision.
Right.
And, I trained all summer for football, and I was in great shape. And I was fast.
Right.
But my timing and everything was off for baseball. I said, you know what, I'm sorry, but I don't want to give up baseball. So I took a chance as a walk-on. Mm-hmm. And they knew the story, basically. They knew my timing was off, but I was fast, and I was pretty good in the outfield.
Track, being
so.
in track helped that. That's
Oh yeah,
for sure.
absolutely, for
Yeah.
sure. And I was a running back in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was fast. And long story short, I made the team and did pretty well over at Wagner. And they were talking about possibly closing the school down.
Really?
And I ended up transferring over to Hofstra in Long
You
Island.
came
Out
to
here in
Long
Long Island. And here I am back.
And here you are back
I'm
on
back.
Long Island. Oh, like I said, I
miss
appreciate.
Long Island,
I
actually.
appreciate you making the trip. Well, we I don't know if you want to mention, but your son actually got
Yeah,
married.
my son got married
on Long Island.
July 16th at
Yes.
the Mutton Town Club.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful venue for any of you who are
Looking
have
for a
any,
place,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And
How many people were there? Can I ask? How many people they had?
I believe it was just shy of 200.
Oh, that's a nice normal size.
It was a decent sized
Okay.
wedding. It was okay,
Yeah.
and but the wedding was gorgeous. They did
Yeah.
a great job.
That's nice.
One of the most beautiful weddings I've ever been to.
Right.
I may be partial because it was my son, but I got to tell you, I really believe that to be true. It was awesome in every respect.
So what degree did you graduate college with?
Sociology.
If you did.
I graduated with a sociology
Okay.
degree,
And
which
what,
I did
what did you want to
nothing
do with that? Thank you very much.
Zero, I
there
did.
you go.
I did nothing with that.
Yes.
But it was fun.
Okay.
It was interesting.
So basically, you stayed with the family business after college?
I actually went out and got a job with Aramark.
Okay.
And for a year. And then I got my sales experience and then went into
Right.
my family's business.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. And so this brings me to my next question, which is how does one decide and become a professional boxing referee? Like, is there a camp or something that you
No
go
camp,
to?
no camp, but there was a gym.
Okay.
The San Juan Center in Hartford. And I used to go there and I used to spar there and train.
So it was kind of like
that
you
type
would
of
go
thing.
and like work out?
Yeah,
Or...
yeah, and I would spar.
Okay,
And
yeah.
this was after college.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I got into martial arts, and I was an instructor in martial
Oh,
arts.
cool.
And then from there, I went into boxing, and I was at this gym, the San Juan Center, and it was a loaded gym. I mean, there was all kinds of actually world champions came out of that gym, and it was just a great gym
Right,
to belong
right,
to.
right.
It was an inner city gym,
Yeah.
and. They asked me, if I was interested in actually competing, okay? Because I was decent.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I just really like to come in and spar, and I don't want to get into a
they
real.
were talking about amateur boxing?
Yeah.
That's what they were saying?
Yeah, but
You
now
know?
I'm already in my, I guess, late 20s by that time,
Okay.
something to that effect.
Right.
And the long and the short of it is that one thing led to another.
Mm-hmm.
They said they were looking for some officials.
I'm pulling you over to keep
Okay.
you centered.
I
Go
keep,
ahead.
Yeah, I keep moving.
Just
yeah,
stay
what's
right
going
there.
on here? I feel like I'm on roller skates. Anyway, so the long and the short of it is
Right.
I ended up getting into officiating. I stayed in the amateurs for USA Boxing for 6 years, judging and refereeing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did about probably between the two 1,000 bouts in Connecticut and in New York,
Wow.
and then I was picked up in the pros by Mohegan Sun, and then New York, and then it followed to other commissions,
Well, I have
Foxwoods and Rhode
so
Island.
many
and
more
on and so
questions
forth.
to ask you about this because I find
Okay.
it fascinating.
Well, I love talking about this too.
But we're going to take my first break, and when we come back, we're going to find out more about this professional boxing referee stuff.
Okay,
because
sounds good.
It's amazing.
All
We'll be
right.
right back.
Well, hi there, Teresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Teresa. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so excited you're joining me tonight. I have Danny Schiavone here, and he is a professional boxing referee and actor. But we have to talk about his career as a professional boxing referee, because it just like blows my mind. Because I'm thinking to myself, how does one become a referee? How does one become a referee? I mean, so obviously you have to have knowledge of the sport.
Yes, you
All right,
do.
you have to. There's rules, there's regulations, there's I know no hitting below the belt or whatever, all these things. But you said you started doing it. You started doing it. And you did like 1,000 bouts, and then all of a sudden someone came to you and said, "Hey, you want to do this professionally?" I mean, like that's how it happened.
You know what? There was a video that was sent of me to Mohegan Sun.
Who sent it?
A man named George Cruz.
Okay.
Who ran the San Juan Center.
Okay.
And basically what happened was they got together and they liked what they saw.
Right.
Gave me an opportunity. And the ironic thing is that my first professional bout at Mohegan Sun,
Yes.
there was like about 3 or 4 commissioners from other commissions.
Okay.
Which is very unlike that to happen.
So you have to be like a registered and commissioned referee. Like
You got to be licensed
you have to be licensed.
with each commission.
So does it go according to state? Like what state? Can you work in
Well,
any
like,
state?
for instance,
Can you work in any state?
Like I can't work in Nevada. They have a residency rule.
Really?
So I can't do any
You have to
fights in
live
Las
there
Vegas.
in order to work
you
there.
You have to live in Nevada. Once in a while they may bend the rule here or there, but for judges it doesn't seem to apply. But referees, you cannot do it for whatever
Really?
reason.
That's
I don't know what that is.
interesting. Very
But
interesting.
the point being is, I am with New York. I'm with Mohegan Sun. Now Connecticut has 3 commissions. They have the 2 casinos, Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods, and then they have a state commission as well.
Right.
So I belong to 3 commissions in Connecticut. Foxwoods and Rhode Island and New York, as well as the WBC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get around.
I get around, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in Rhode Island next week, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
and you were there
Yeah.
a little while ago, weren't you?
I was at the Garden. I just did ESPN fight. I had the
Nice,
co-main
nice.
event.
Well,
at
we're
the
going to
Garden.
talk about that too, because first of all, you've been doing this since January 19th, 2003. Is that correct?
Is that when I started?
That's
Boy,
when
you
it
know
look-
more than I
that's
do.
when it looks like you
I just
started,
call it
my
like
friend.
20 years or so. That's
Okay.
how I've been doing
Well,
it
that's what it
professionally.
says,
Yeah,
January,
so,
yeah, so-
yeah,
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 you-
19, 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just say you've worked for ESPN, NBC, and HBO. You started back in 2000.
Showtime. There's other things as
Showtime,
well
yeah,
that's not
this-
really recorded.
Right.
I've been on every major network as far
Pretty
as
much,
my
pretty much.
fights. Mhm.
Well, I have here back in 2005, you did Friday Night Fights on ESPN. Mm-hmm. And then 2013, you did NBC Network Fight Night.
You know what? There's been a lot of televised fights that are
Yes.
just not really recorded.
Right,
Like it only
right.
shows like on my IMDb type of thing.
Right,
a few
right.
things. But
Yeah.
I've had a lot of television fights,
A lot.
TV fights.
You
yes.
did from 2012 to 2016. Did you see that move by itself?
I did see
you
that.
just see that?
It's like my chair. It moves
Did
by
you-
itself.
okay.
I don't know
just
what's
wanna
going on
say
here.
If you saw it, because I did too.
Yes, I saw it. I caught that.
Okay. 2012 to 2016, HBO Boxing After Dark, and I watch that all the time.
Okay.
I watch it all the time. It's like
Boxing fan.
I am a
Very
boxing
good.
fan. I've never been to a live event ever.
Got to get to one.
I
It's like
do.
nothing else.
I do. I
There's
can't imagine
nothing
the
like-
electricity in the air.
That's what I was just going to say. That word, electricity. There is nothing more electric, in my opinion, in any sport
Right.
as watching a championship fight at the Garden or the Barclays Center.
Right.
New York is insane
Yeah.
for boxing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the crowd is electric.
Yeah. Like I can't imagine like a game like a fight at the Garden like that. Like this
Incredible.
Like the ultimate.
Incredible feeling. It's very surreal, as a matter of fact. Even to this day, and I worked the Garden a lot. I've worked the
Like how
Barclays
nervous
Center
were
a
you?
lot.
Like very nervous the first time you worked like your big major venue.
You know something?
Well, like you knew you were going to be
you know what?
televised.
I actually said, and I'll never forget this, because a friend of mine, Benji Estevez, tremendous referee, he was taking me through the Garden, and I used to go to the Garden with my father to see the Knick games and things to that effect.
Right,
but
right.
did I ever think that I would be in the middle of Madison Square Garden? If somebody was to tell me that, I would be like, "You're out of your mind. You're delusional. How can that
Right,
possibly
right.
even happen?" But the point being is, I remember this vividly, like it was this morning.
Right.
And I was going around the Garden, and I knew that Benji, I knew what he was doing. He was trying to relax me a little bit because it's it's the mecca of boxing. It
could be a little
the most
intimidating.
the most popular or famous venue in the world.
Yep.
So the long and the short of it is, he left me, and I opened up the door, and I'm looking at 7th Avenue, I think it was, and I actually said to myself, what am I doing at Madison Square Garden? And I said that out loud. And, whoever was around could have heard me.
Right.
But I wasn't even in that
That
mode.
guy
I
really
didn't
is talking to
care. I
himself.
said to I was talking to myself. What am I doing at Madison Square Garden is what I said.
Right.
Because it was,
Yeah.
again, so surreal.
Yeah, this kid from Hartford.
Yeah, what am I doing here?
It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing.
It is
okay,
amazing.
so Bobby's going to throw up some pictures of you refereeing.
Uh-oh.
We didn't put the pics in order, so Bobby's going to have to pick them out. Huh? What? There you are.
Oh, I'm serious. Look at that
You're
face.
very serious. First of all, that's one of my favorite pics.
That's that Mohegan Sun.
Yes.
Because I see the shirt
All
and
right,
the
so I have
badge.
to ask you a question. How many bow ties do you own?
One. And I just stick with that same
What?
one.
Really?
That's right. I'm old school. I told you this.
Wow. Okay, one. One bow tie.
That's right.
One
But I
bow
have
tie.
several shirts.
That was a burning question I had to ask you.
Okay.
That's
Me and
yeah,
Will
that's you
DeMeo.
and Willie. Yeah, not that. Yeah, we're gonna
That's
talk
on the
about,
set
Yeah, that's
of-
on the set. We're gonna talk about
Yeah,
that later.
okay.
That's back. Yeah, we're gonna talk about. I know we didn't put these in order, unfortunately.
That's okay.
That's it. Oh boy. Okay.
I should have sent some
All
to
right.
you.
No, I had. It's just that I had to pick and choose. But
Okay.
all right, we'll come back here.
get the idea.
We get the idea.
There you go.
You and your bow tie. You have a standard. How about him in the ring? Him in the ring. There was a couple of guys with him in the ring. If you want to throw those up, they're there. There's a couple. All right. Well, while we're waiting, did you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
I don't see
I didn't know. All right. Okay. I thought we dragged them. All right. Anyway, so I have to ask you, while you've been in the ring, have you ever gotten hit?
I have. I got hit twice in one fight.
Twice in
Twice
one
in
fight?
one fight, yes. And when that occurs, that's not the
What
object
part of the
it.
body did you get hit in?
The ribs and the temple.
Wow.
And then when I got hit in the temple, there's a delay. You get hit in this area,
Right.
there is a delay. So I got hit. I thought I was okay for a second,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, I was kind of on Queer Street,
Right.
and I had to gather because there's a fight going on
It's
here.
like when your legs go out from underneath
yeah,
you.
but there's a fight continuing.
Yeah, but they
Okay,
saw
I
you
can't
get
go
hit.
down.
Everyone saw
Well,
you
you
got
know
hit.
something. The funny thing is that they did, and they looked at me. They stopped, and I was I was aggravated. I was mad
sure.
that I got hit. Okay,
Right.
and
Not just once, twice.
Yes. So
You didn't duck.
So basically, right. So basically, I said, "Come on, let's go, let's go." Very abruptly.
Initially.
And then the crowd went wild.
Right.
Because of the way that I reacted to the
Right,
whole thing.
right.
But yes, I got hit twice, and
Wow.
usually that does occur though when you're jumping in trying to break them.
Right.
Okay,
right,
that
right.
can happen, and because a punch is in
Yeah,
motion,
right.
and you're trying to come in, or
It's
they're
almost
holding
like a
it hidden,
dance. Like you have
that
to
type of
know
thing.
when to lean
Yes.
in and when not to.
And there's been plenty of times where I've almost gotten hit. I've had to duck or
Yeah, yeah.
move out of the way. Just there was one time I was up in Rochester. Hasim Rahman,
Okay.
okay, was the boxer. Huge. He was a huge guy, and he threw a hook. And that guy kind of bobbed and weaved, and it came at me, and I did one of these deals, and
Right.
it just brushed my nose. But if this guy hit me,
Oh, forget about it. He would've broke
He
it,
was
right?
something like 200 and I think at the time 260 something pounds or something, like
Wow.
six whatever he was.
Right.
That could have been a problem for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I got out of the way just in time.
Wow.
But that does still happen from time to time where you almost get hit. But again, it hasn't happened in a while.
Do you know how many gigs you've had throughout
Over
your career?
500 professional fights.
Really?
Yeah, that's considered
Wow.
to be a lot.
Do you have a favorite venue?
Well, the Garden.
Uh-huh.
The Garden is definitely my favorite venue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.
How often are you there for fights?
You know what? It varies. When I get called in New York, I'm usually at the Gardner, the Barclays Center.
Okay.
You know,
In
that's what I've
Brooklyn.
been
Yeah.
getting. I've been getting those venues,
Right.
which are great venues. Well, you know, how
Yeah.
can you complain about that?
I had Jackie Kaplan Callan on my show.
Oh, she's awesome.
So
she's
yeah.
excellent.
Isn't
She's
she great?
Great.
She's great. I had her on my
Fantastic.
show.
Great
and,
person.
What a doll.
Unbelievable.
A doll. I want to have her
Yep.
back on. Unfortunately, we had a little technical difficulty in the beginning.
Okay.
And we kind of like lost time with her. She didn't have
Yeah,
her entire
yeah.
55 minutes, so I do want to have her back on.
Okay.
But she was great. So of course I had to ask you if you knew her because she's like, you know.
Of course. I saw her in at a Hartford show not that long ago, as a matter of fact. I think it was within the past year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So May 21st, 2022, you got inducted into the Connecticut Boxing Hall of Fame.
I did.
Bobby has that picture. Him with at the Boxing Hall of Fame. Tell me how that happens.
Well, you know, basically.
It's a picture of him with his family.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, I think it's you with the fam.
You know, basically, you know, there's a criteria, obviously, okay? And you get voted in. It's like in any type of a Hall of Fame. You get
Right,
voted in
right.
based on your performance and your experience and, you know, anything that you've done above and beyond type of thing.
Right.
And it's like in any sport. I mean, you know, you have certain statistics and things to that effect. And,
Right.
you know, so I've done about, you know, between world and junior titles, over 50. Like I said, over 500 bouts, which I believe is the most out of any referee in the history of Connecticut boxing.
Wow.
Which Connecticut has a very strong history of boxing. Willie Pep and Bat Battolino and you know, Marlon Starling and Chad Dawson and all of these different world title, you know, world
Right.
champions,
Yeah.
former champions. And I know I'm missing a bunch of
Did you
people. but-
watch? Obviously, you watched boxing growing up.
Oh,
you
sure,
had,
absolutely.
You had favorite
absolutely.
boxers.
Sure,
that
Muhammad Ali was my favorite.
Ali, yeah.
But then again, I became a very big Sugar Ray Leonard fan.
We got that picture, Bobby, him and Sugar Ray. There we go,
Oh,
baby.
there you go. All right.
Thank you. Look how young you are. Not that you don't look
Oh,
bad
thank
now,
you.
but
You-
how many
what are
years
you
ago-
what are you
how-
getting at
no,
here?
How many
Look
years
how young ago.
No, how long ago was that?
You know
hey,
what?
Sugar Ray doesn't look, you know.
I was. I think that was probably.
Look like a baby out of high school. Come on.
I guess that was probably about 15 years ago. I'm guessing something to that effect.
And that was where?
That was in Las Vegas at the WBC convention. And I got to tell you something. He is an absolute gentleman.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard is a
Yeah.
good guy. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, here's a story to that picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking to him prior.
Right.
And that was the last day. And he's got all these reporters around him. He's ready to do an interview.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was scooting out. I'm going
Okay.
to the airport to come
Right,
back
right.
home. Right.
Yeah.
So before it got started, and it was almost ready to get started, you know, he had everybody, you know, he was mic'd up and everything. And I said, "Hey, Ray, I'm taking off." And he goes like this to everybody. He came over and he took that picture with
how
me, gave me a hug.
nice.
You know, great
That's
to see you again.
sweet.
And then he got into promoting also. Okay, so I did one of his shows at Foxwoods. And he and I were, you know, sitting together, and he's just a great guy.
Yeah.
A real
it's
gentleman.
nice. It's
Absolute
nice.
gentleman.
It's sweet.
Good
it's really
guy.
sweet. Good guy. And in
Absolutely.
2014 and 2017, you were Connecticut Boxing Official of the Year.
Yes.
That's like so cool. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
you know what?
nice
It's
to
a big
get those
honor.
accolades.
It's a big.
It is.
You know what? Boxing has been very, very good to me.
yes.
I've met some tremendous people in boxing.
Is there a union for referees? How does
No,
this work?
it's the only professional sport without a union. as a matter
Really?
of fact.
See, it's good I ask these questions.
That's
isn't
a
it?
great question. Who
Thank
told you
you.
to ask that question?
Me. I just
All
popped
right.
into my head because
Okay.
I come from a union family.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
And it's something I hear my dad saying, ask him if he's union. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But that's
right.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting to know.
Yep.
Wow. And you know what's interesting? We have to take my next break.
Already?
Come back.
Just getting started here.
More with Danny Schiavone. Don't go away.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
How you doing? It's Sal the Voice Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Teresa Canastraci Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Teresa on Facebook. Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love
Welcome back to Tea Time. Okay, Bobby's going to throw up the picture of you getting inducted into the Connecticut Boxing Hall of Fame with your familia, right?
There we
That's
go.
them?
Yep,
There you go.
there we go.
How nice. What a beautiful plaque, too.
Yeah, it was pretty. They did a good job with that plaque,
That's
actually. So I have my
nice.
wife, my two boys, Kyle and Ryan, and my daughter-in-law to be, Erin.
Nice.
And my other daughter-in-law, who just got married out here in Long Island, was in Europe, I believe.
Oh,
she
nice.
works for Victoria's Secret.
Oh, lovely.
She's a buyer there. Or something.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, Danny Schiavone's here. He is a professional boxing referee. He's an actor. So, you know, your career has taken you in many directions. And one of the directions it actually has taken you in is acting.
Yes. Can you believe it?
Sorry. Sorry, not that I mean to get choked up about this, but I want you to tell the story of your very, very, very first acting gig
Okay, that was with
and
that,
going to audition for it.
Yes, that was back in the day, and there wasn't really an audition.
No. Wasn't there something before that?
Okay, prior to that.
Let's go way, way,
okay,
way back,
let's go way
Danny.
back. Okay, where it started.
Yes.
We were having a referee seminar
Yes.
in New York, and the commissioner had said that they were looking, Miller Lite Beer was looking for a referee
Right.
to do a beer commercial during halftime of the Super Bowl. And
Okay.
I can't remember what Super Bowl it was.
Okay.
But be that as it may. So anyway, there was like 3 days of auditioning, okay,
Yeah.
that they were holding. And it was like all-day events
Yeah.
for, 3 straight days. So there was a lot of people there, okay? I went down into Manhattan, pretty much just, just to have fun with it.
Right.
I didn't have a heck of a lot of expectations about it. But anyway, one of the casting directors came out and said, Danny, are you going to be around for a little while? I didn't even know this guy knew my name. He had so many people there, right?
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, I could hang out for a while. What do you need? He's like, I want you to do a second audition. I want you to, do another one.
Wow.
And so I did it.
Yeah.
And they had a date that they were supposed to actually have the official that they were looking for.
Okay. Right.
And
The
what
day
ended
they
up-
wanted to shoot.
Correct. And then it ended up getting prolonged because the owner of the commercial wanted an actual football official. And the production farm, which is the place that I actually did the auditioning, wanted me. So
Okay.
they had to have a meeting.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
As to who was going to get who.
Yeah.
And the owner won. Miller Lite Beer wanted them, the
Right.
other guy.
Yeah.
And that's the way it went. But they were so upset about it, not upset, but felt bad for me.
Disappointed. They were
Disappointed is the
disappointed
word.
for you.
That they said, listen, we're going to be doing this down in the village at a bar. If you'd like to come down, eat, blah, blah, blah. So I did.
Yeah.
I drove
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I'd never seen how they did a commercial. And,
Right.
watched what I, could have been. And, but it was fun. And you know what? From there,
Yeah.
I was assigned an agent. Okay. And from there, all of a sudden, I'm getting calls, like on every other week, every month. This went out for like 3 years.
Wow.
And I kept going down, and I kept getting closer and closer, and I was getting callbacks for like 90-something% of the time
Right,
that I
right.
went down.
Yeah, yeah.
I had no acting experience. I'm fooling around with this.
Right.
What do I know? I'm just having a good time, right? But then that's
how it
what happened.
happens sometimes.
Now, Here's the weird part.
Okay.
There was a couple of year span that I stopped doing it.
Okay.
Lost touch with the agent. And I said to my wife, I'm on my way out to go to work.
Right.
And I believe it was a Friday night. I never got called for Long Island to do
Okay.
a fight, to do a show.
Right.
Okay. I was always either upstate or at the Garden or somewhere in Westchester, something like that.
Right.
Right. Because they kind of do it geographically, even though we're right across the water.
Yes.
No bridge, obviously,
Right,
no tunnel, which is
right.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get called to do a fight, referee a fight at the Paramount.
The Paramount.
But I'm on my way out.
Right.
And I said to my wife, I said, you know what? I'd like to get back into acting again and into auditioning, as I put it, not
Right.
acting.
Right.
Not knowing that Will DeMeo was going to be there and the people from back in the day.
Okay.
So here I am. I show up at the
Right.
venue at the Paramount.
Right.
And
this was how long ago?
this is going back, when was back in the day out? Let's call it,
I don't know.
let's call it.
I think it's on Amazon Prime if anyone
Let's
wants
call
to
it
watch
6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
Right.
I don't know.
So
to be
back in
honest
the
with you.
day,
So anyway,
Go ahead.
I get approached.
Yeah.
Okay, by one of their casting directors and said, "Listen, we're looking for a referee.
There you go.
For a movie
and that's
called
how it
Back in the
happens.
Day."
Back in the day.
And that's
There
how
it
it
is.
happened.
And Back in the Day is on, I think it is on Amazon Prime right now if you want
It
to
is
watch it.
Tubi.
Tubi? It's on Tubi right now?
I take that back.
So
I take that back. You're right.
I
believe
am
it's on-
right.
Yes, you're
Yeah, I
right.
usually am. So
Yes.
anyway, listen to me, not him. Back in the Day with Willie DeMeo, Danny Glover. We got a picture of you and Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, can put that up, please. You and Danny, there you are.
Another great guy.
Yeah,
Another gentleman.
he seems
And you want to know
great.
what's funny about him?
Yeah.
Now here he is, a major actor, right?
Right.
He says to me, "Danny, whatever you can tell me to make me a better actor in this movie," swear to God,
Wow.
word for word. That's how he put it. To make
Plus,
me a better actor. How am I going to make you a better
plus
actor?
he loves your name. Your first
loves
name.
my name. That's a great name.
And then Alec Baldwin was in it, and
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Michael Madsen. We got a picture of Michael that you could throw. There's Michael. I interviewed him last July at
Good
the
guy.
Soprano MobCon.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, he is.
Love him.
Yeah.
Really spectacular. So yeah, Willie, Danny, Alec.
But
Michael.
Danny Glover, I was with him for 4 days.
Wow.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
Again, a
'Cause he
gentleman.
played the,
absolute
he
gentleman.
played
he
the-
played Eddie Rocks.
Eddie, yeah.
Who was the trainer.
The trainer.
Correct.
Right. So he was in the corner the whole time.
He was in the corner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw the movie. I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good
Annabelle
movie.
Escure is in it.
Yep.
There's a lot of people in it. A lot of people.
By the
in it.
way,
Joe-
she
I
is
think
from
Joe-
the
Joe
town that
Joe
I came
D'Onofrio?
from.
Really?
Yep, or that I live in, I should say.
Look at that.
She actually, I believe she was born in Hartford.
Uh-huh.
She lived in Weathersfield, where I live.
Yeah.
But then she moved to Brooklyn. That's how that went,
Okay.
by the way.
That's how she moved. So working with Willie is great. And how I met Danny, we met on the set of Gravesend.
Gravesend.
And Bobby's got a picture of you and I. There, look at us.
Yeah,
now, the
look at
reason
that.
why I look like I have blue eyeshadow and all that stuff is because it takes place in the 80s, as you know. And that's where we met. We were on set in New Jersey.
Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Yep. And there's a couple of more pics, I think, behind that one, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that was from
Back in the day.
right? And then there's Chaz.
Chaz Palminteri.
You were Chaz.
Yep.
And then there's you and Peter.
Peter
And
Gaudio.
Peter I grew up with in
Yeah.
Bayside. And then there's a pic of you and Vic. Vic. And he's originally from Staten, Italy, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
Or he's always in Jersey now. I'm
He's
not
in
too
New
sure.
Jersey. Yeah, he's in Jersey.
Yeah, I think Staten, Italy, because everyone goes from like Staten, Italy.
Yeah, that's
They go
the
Brooklyn,
move,
Staten,
kinda.
Italy, and then Jersey. You
Yeah,
know, like that
right.
that train.
And I think that's like Central Jersey, where they moved from Staten Island to be.
Right. So
Exactly.
Gravesend. Tell me about Gravesend.
Gravesend is going to be insane this
Well, we just finished season 2.
Right, and
Right.
it is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
We have phenomenal actors,
Mm-hmm.
okay? You know, again, Chaz Palminteri,
Chaz.
Tony Darrow is
Tony
in it,
Darrow's
Vinny
in it.
Pastori.
Yep.
You know, it goes on and on and
Yeah.
on.
Bo.
Okay?
You got Bo.
Teresa Farrell. Yeah. You know,
What
we
do you
have-
play? Who do you play?
I play Vito. I'm in.
Play Vito?
I play Vito, and
Now, does Vito need a
I'm-
gumata or a sister or a cousin?
You know, we'll have to see. Well, as time goes on, and hopefully that will be here for season 3.
For season 3.
But I'll tell you, yeah,
So tell me about
I'm
Vito.
kinda-
Are you a nice guy? Are you a tough guy?
Yeah, I guess I'm
You
a
have to
tough
kick
guy.
some behinds?
Yeah, I'm going to probably be doing
All right,
that
okay.
in times to come, I hope.
Yeah. Well, that's going to
And,
look really authentic.
I am actually like the right-hand man to Jimmy Beans.
Okay.
And he's the boss of the rival family.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, so it was, I got to tell you, great time. Had an awesome time
Yeah.
doing season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me a couple of speaking scenes.
Lines. Yeah, good.
Which was
Isn't that
cool.
great?
And, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very excited about it. And again, we had the pilot of season 1,
Yes.
4 episodes. But I'm going to tell you something. Season 2 is going to be
Totally
entirely
different.
different.
Yeah, totally different.
It's
It's like you got to get your feet wet. You got to know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And then,
And they, again, Armand Asante's in it. I
yes,
left him
Armand
out.
Asante. And my friend Johnny plays his son, so I'm excited about that.
Pete Gaudio plays a big role in it.
Bruce Sosha is in it.
Yep.
Bruce is in it.
I mean, it's star-studded, really.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to be involved with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really am blessed.
Well, I was blessed to have those 2 days on set and be with a lot of my friends there that day. In,
was a fun day,
in Long
actually.
Island
Yeah.
and New Jersey.
Right.
It's a lot of fun working with your friends.
Absolutely.
You know?
I can't even believe that. It's so much fun. It's like you're just hanging out.
I know.
Playing.
I know.
Just-
and
just-
there's
just
a lot of
hanging out and-
downtime on
There's a lot of
set,
downtime.
You know, so
There
at least
is.
you're hanging out with, you know.
Yeah, right.
Good people.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You know?
So, but love it.
Yeah.
Love it, and can't wait to see season 2. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
It's coming out soon. I don't know when.
Yeah, we
but
have
I
to.
believe
We have
it's
to.
coming
we have,
out
we have
very
to find,
soon.
We have to find out when.
We do
'cause
have to find that
I have
out.
to look for myself in the back behind Fran Drescher. What do you have coming up as far as? Do you have any other acting gigs that you've auditioned for that are in post or pre, or do you plan on continuing auditioning?
I would like to continue.
and play different parts.
Absolutely, I'll do anything. It doesn't make a difference to me. I just
Yeah.
love the whole aspect of it. What am I talking about? I'm in the Willie Pep movie.
Well, I'm
That's
glad
coming
I
out
asked you.
in this, I believe this coming summer.
Tell me about Willie Pep.
Now, Willie Pep was the featherweight champion of the world back in the 50s. And Willie actually was at my bachelor party because he's a Hartford guy.
Really?
And he was a personal friend of my father.
Wow.
And so I was especially honored to be a part of this movie that was shot in and around Hartford.
Right.
And, he is said to be, possibly one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the history of boxing.
And what weight does he fight in?
Featherweight.
Oh, featherweight. Sorry, you mentioned
So,
that. Yeah,
yep.
featherweight.
And,
that means he doesn't weigh much.
Doesn't
What's
weigh
the
much.
range for featherweight?
Believe it's 119, I believe, to 126, something like that. You know what? There's so many different divisions now.
So wait,
even
there's
I
like
get
there's
confused.
featherweight.
There's flyweight. There's bantamweight.
And then
there's
there's- I
featherweight.
know there's-
there's welterweight. There's super welterweight. There's
So,
junior middleweight.
so the highest
and so
one
on and so
is
forth.
heavyweight, correct? Is there anything
Super
past?
heavyweight, yeah.
There is a super heavyweight.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But the point being is this, that different jurisdictions have different weight categories.
And this is his.
His was
life
he
story.
fought-
This
yeah,
is
he
his
fought-
life story?
He fought at I believe 126. Yeah, and it is his life story.
It is his life story.
Yeah, so that's going to be something that's going to be a great movie coming out.
Wow.
And I did play a referee there.
Okay.
And so I wasn't really like I was
It wasn't a big
really.
stretch.
But I got to tell you, what they did allow me to do similarly, and this is where when we talked about back in the day, they allowed me to intervene a little bit. Okay,
Because you want to make it look as authentic as possible.
Now you just said a word, and authentic.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to Will DeMeo, I'm in the corner
Right.
while we were filming, and they were doing a fight scene, and I said just like this. I said, "Excuse me, are you looking for authenticity in this?" I'm being a little facetious here.
Right.
Now
right,
Will
right.
stops.
I mean, you don't want to look like it's staged.
Correct. He stops.
Yeah.
And the choreographer, who didn't appreciate that.
I'm sure he didn't.
And Will's opponent,
Right.
I can't remember the name of the actor, but he did a great job at the fight scene.
Okay.
They're all looking at me, and Will says, "Of course." I said, "Well, I got to tell you, this is not it." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, listen, if you're going to take a knee, I got to initiate a count, because this is now
Correct.
the choreographer that was telling
Yes.
me to do this."
Yes.
And long story short is, the choreographer was a little this way, and then Will says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. I want to hear what he has to say. He's a professional here."
Sure.
So from that from that point, there was a mutual respect.
Right.
Because I respected him for what he did.
Right.
And said, "Look, he's the professional. Okay.
Yeah.
We're actors here."
Right, right.
And Willie was in phenomenal
And it's part, the
condition, by
choreography
way.
is part of the blocking. And what
That's
that
right.
means, blocking is almost like choreography. You have to know, well, in blocking, when you're acting, you're speaking and moving to a certain spot or location.
Correct.
But with choreography, it's all about, it's a dance.
Sure it is.
It really
Absolutely.
is a dance.
Yes.
And you have to know which way you're
That's right.
going and which way your partner's going.
And you wanna know what?
In order for it to look fluid and
Correct.
flawless.
But in the truth of the matter is this: they really were not necessarily supposed to be professionals at this game
Right,
of boxing.
right. I get it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you can't, I wasn't faulting them. You can't fault them for
Right,
that.
right.
They're actors doing something.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like we all do, you pick up.
Yes,
As you
yes.
go along.
Yeah.
And but the good thing is, he listened to what I had to say.
Which was nice.
Absolutely.
Because he could have told you,
It
nah,
was-
I really don't
that's-
care what
hey,
you got to
listen,
say.
Well, you know Will DeMeo, he's a great guy. And
He
he's one of the
is.
hardest
Yeah.
working people out there.
He is.
And I got to tell you, I can't say enough about him. He's a dear friend. But I got to tell you something. The long and the short of it is that, I know the positions of, in the Pep movie, okay? They had my back turned while I was initiating a count.
Right.
So I said, wait a second, can we do
In
it this
real
way?
life.
Let me jump to the other side, okay? As a matter of fact, I don't know if you have the picture of me counting Will DeMeo out, okay?
Yeah, no,
Or
I know
giving him an
what
initiate.
picture it
You know
is
what
you're talking
it's
about.
actually
Yeah, it's
on the cover
Yeah,
of my Facebook page.
right.
But the long and the short of it is
Yeah.
this. I said to them in the Pep movie, why don't I just be facing the camera?
Right.
Because this way you got all three of us
Right.
instead of my, rear
Right,
end.
and I love that shot because it's Willie, obviously,
Yep.
in the position he's in, and you're right, you're in front of him facing the camera, and I think that was a
So I did it.
that was
the
a great
same
call.
thing in the Pep movie,
Yeah.
and they allowed it,
Which is
was
good.
good.
Yes.
That's what they're supposed to do. That's
Right.
what I'm there for.
Right.
But going back in the day,
because you're almost a consultant at
I
the
am
same
You want to
time.
know something? I was a consultant. I consider myself, now in the credits,
Right.
it didn't have me as a consultant
Right.
back in the day.
Right.
But absolutely, I was a consultant.
Yes.
I know I was because
Absolutely.
I ended up getting a lot of people for that movie. I ended up getting
Right.
Harold Letterman. I got a couple of referees. I got Cutman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some other people. So you want to know what? It was good, and you know what? They ended up doing a great job.
It was
in the
great. It's a
fights.
great movie. So watch it on Amazon Prime back in the day. Watch it. And we're going to watch my last commercial right now. And we'll be back really quickly. Don't go away.
Doc, who's the best comedian you know?
Teresa Farrow.
And who's the best actress you know?
Teresa Farrow.
And who's the best cast member in Bad Boys?
Teresa Farrow.
Who's got the best radio?
Teresa Farrow.
Doc, who's your favorite guinea?
Teresa Farrow.
Who are you loving right now?
Teresa Farrow.
All right, Doc, I love you too, baby.
Love you as always.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. Thank you, Doc Gooden, my wonderful friend. I'm hoping to get him in studio. Thank you to Sal the Voice Valentinetti and John York from General Hospital. Yeah, I am with Danny Schiavone, and he is a professional boxing referee, which I think is so cool because I was telling Danny before the show, I love boxing. I used to watch boxing with my dad, especially on all the HBO shows. And when I was a kid, I did a report on Rocky Marciano. Mm-hmm. And I just found his life very, very interesting, but just the whole thing encompassing boxing as far as everyone involved in it, because it is a family in a sense.
It really is.
You know, where you have a trainer and you have a coach and you have to condition your body and you have to be in a physical aspect, and you have to be in a mental aspect, because I think the mental is just important as the physical.
Absolutely, no question.
You know, and then you do this dance, and you hope to come out the winner, and you know, help raise that arm up at the end, right?
Yeah.
Of that match. Have you ever, and I'm sure, had a match there where it had to be decided, and maybe in the back of your head you didn't really agree with the decision?
You know something, as a referee,
So
you know,
really
back
have
in
to
the
like
day,
stay biased, right? Like you really
Excuse
just
me?
have to like kind of like be neutral.
well, I'm not really. I have nothing to do with
Right,
the
right.
You know,
With the decision.
at one time, though, referees did judge. They reffed and judged simultaneously. Yeah,
I didn't know
you
that.
Going back, some years, I don't remember. Not when I was a referee. However, the point being is that prior to that, they had the job of also judging the fight, which I can't understand how you can possibly referee and judge at the same time.
Yeah,
Because what
that's
the
a lot.
referee is doing is this. He is just administering the rules, okay, and basically how the flow of the fight is going to go, okay? Let them, by not getting overly involved when you shouldn't and getting involved when you should. And you
Right.
know what? It's very difficult. You can't really teach that. It's almost like a sense that you develop by doing it over and over and over again. Again, like I said, I've been doing this professionally for 20 years, 6 years in the amateur, so that's 26 years.
Did you ever have to disqualify anyone for
did, yes.
not listening to you? And you're, hey, I'm
Uns-
warning you.
Not
I'm
for
warning you.
Well, you know what? Yes. In effect, not listening, hence unsportsmanlike conduct, hitting below the belt too many
that's
times.
a big one. Yeah.
You point it, you give
Right,
him another
right,
point,
right.
and then, you know what? There comes a time where you got to make a decision because he is disrupting the flow of the bout, he or she for that matter.
Have you ever gotten flack for stopping a fight early?
Absolutely. It's an ungrateful type of a job.
Yeah.
And but you know what? I look at it this way. If other people in the seats, okay, can do it any better, then they would be in there, okay? And I would be sitting in their spot. That's the way I look at things.
Right.
But the point being is, it's like anything, you know what? And it's the same thing in every sport.
Right.
I mean, you know what? Umpires have a certain strike zone. Correct?
Yes,
Right?
they do.
They
They
stay
do.
consistent with a certain strike zone that may be a little bit different than another umpire.
You're right.
Okay?
You're
But
absolutely right.
What do people say? What does fans say? They're
Right.
fanatics. That's
Yeah.
why they're called
Yeah,
fans.
that's
They
right.
always have
what it's short
an
for.
opinion.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they know more than
You
the
do.
officials
Yeah,
that are out there.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
They're authorities.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course, they do. Well, I want everyone to follow Danny. He's on Facebook as Danny Schiavone, and it's
I love the way that just rolls off your tongue.
I know, I have to get to Italy. Schiavone, Schiavone. So follow him on Facebook. We got like another minute and a half, but real quick, Willie Pep. You said you filmed that in Connecticut.
In Hartford, yeah.
How many days was that for you on set?
It was a 1-day deal for me.
Okay.
You know, I was there for many hours.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Well, it's one
obviously,
long day.
One long day, but
Yeah.
that's all I did. I did a couple of fights. I was in 2 different fights in that movie.
Yeah.
And it should be good. It should be good.
I'm gonna look forward to watching it.
Jimmy
that's for
Matteo
sure.
plays Willie Pep.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Jimmy Matteo?
Matteo.
Matteo.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, listen, I want to thank everyone for watching. My show is on every Sunday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 on Optimum, and it can be seen on Facebook, YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. We had a little glitch tonight with Facebook, so we're going to see when we can put that up. But right now we are on YouTube, and we will put it back on Facebook when we can. In the meantime, I want to close the show with my Aunt Helen. My Aunt Helen Canastraci Tullaba. Unfortunately, Bobby's got her pick. She passed away on Tuesday. My father's one of 7 children, and that was the last sibling of my dad's to pass away. So my dad is the only one left now out of the 7. And my Aunt Helen, I loved her dearly. She was very sweet to me. She used to come to my comedy shows back in the 90s. So rest in peace. Give Uncle Jack and Grandma and Grandpa a big hug. Everybody, thank you, Danny, so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. This
Thank
was
you,
a
everyone,
pleasure.
for watching the show, liking the show, sharing the show. Everyone have a great week. Stay safe. Tell everyone you love them. And we'll see you next week, people. Ciao.